Liberty, a young girl but incredibly smart, she saw the struggles her mother faced and felt deeply for her. Despite her own challenges, Liberty made it her mission to support Rachel in any way she could. Liberty's heart was always in the right place. Her efforts were a testament to her love and admiration for Rachel, as she often found herself putting her own needs aside to ease her mother's burdens. Rachel, now in her mid-30s, had achieved much in her professional life, but her personal life was another story. The biggest challenge she faced was her ongoing struggle with being unmarried. Despite her success, Rachel often felt a deep sense of loneliness and frustration. She longed for companionship and the stability that a committed relationship could bring, but it seemed elusive. This unfulfilled aspect of her life weighed heavily on her. Rachel stormed into the living room, her face flushed with frustration. How dare he? What does he mean by that? Am I not beautiful enough? What's wrong with me? He's mad for not standing by me. Can you believe it? A whole me. Her voice was laced with anger as she vented to her best friend on the phone. Anyway, it's not his fault, it's mine for dating such a stupid man. Just then Liberty entered the room. Noticing her mother's distress, she greeted her softly. Mommy, good evening. Rachel's anger fled. Good evening. What's good about it? Get out, she snapped, her frustration spilling all over. This shouting and insults are because of you. Unable to contain her emotions, just as Liberty was about leaving the room, come back here, Rachel called out to Liberty. Serve dinner. But after a moment of thought, Rachel added, forget it. The next morning, during breakfast, Mom, are you okay? She asked gently. Rachel looked at Liberty with a sharp edge in her voice. How do I look? She snapped. Liberty hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Rachel, growing more agitated, declared, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Is that not what you wanted to hear? She stood up from the table, frustration evident. Please meet me in the car. I'm late for work. Rachel grabbed her purse and headed out. Liberty quickly followed her mom to the car. Rachel drove her to school and Liberty thanked her. Mom, our teacher said we need to pay for something, she began, but Rachel cut her off sharply. Pay for what? It's always pay. And after all this, what do you give me in return? Get out, please, don't tell me anymore. As Liberty got out of the car, Rachel drove off immediately. When Rachel arrived at the office, she began tackling some paperwork, trying to focus on her tasks. Suddenly, she heard a knock on her door. Come in, Rachel called out. Her friend Mirabel entered with a warm smile. Oh, Rachel, Mirabel said, embracing her. Seeing Rachel's tears, Mirabel's voice softened. I'm so sorry. It's okay, don't cry. He doesn't deserve you. You are beautiful, smart and successful. It's his loss, not yours. Rachel continued to cry and Miracle offered comforting words. Stop crying over someone who can't see past your daughter. You are doing nothing wrong. Being a single mom is not a sin. After a few minutes, Rachel wiped her tears with a paper towel and asked, why does it seem like everyone else has it different? What am I doing wrong? Mirabel reassured her. It's not about what you're doing wrong. Sometimes people just can't see your worth. But remember, you have so much to offer and deserve someone who appreciates you fully. What hurts me the most, Rachel said, her voice trembling, is that he didn't support or stand by me. When his parents found out I'm a single mom, can you imagine? He knew for 2 years and still didn't find a suitable time to tell them. Instead of facing his family and let me focus on mine, wasting 2 years of my time, love, money and heart just to say he can't marry me because of his parents don't like single mothers. They think they are prostitutes. I was devastated on our engagement night. Tears streamed down her face as she wiped them away. It's okay, Mirabel said soothingly. Tomorrow I'll be going to a friend's birthday party. Come with me so you can take your mind off the breakup. Rachel made a weary face. I hope there are men there because I need to find someone new. Mirabel chuckled. It's not always about finding a man, Rachel. I'm taking you to relax, not to search for someone. Before Mirabel could leave, she asked, how's Liberty? Rachel's expression hardened. She should be fine, I guess. Mirabel looked concerned. What do you mean she should be fine? Isn't she your daughter? Rachel's frustration boiled over. What do you mean, isn't she your daughter? Do daughters ever cause their mothers pain? Everything I'm going through is her fault, and now you're asking me about her. Sometimes I even regret not having an abortion when my parents suggested it. Look at what I'm dealing with now. Shut up, Mirabel snapped. What do you mean abort? Don't ever say that again. That girl is just 17 years old. Give her a break. Yet she's dealing with things that I'm sure even you at your age couldn't handle. And on top of that, she's suffering because of her own mother. Mirabel's anger fled. Not everyone deserves to be called a mother, especially when you are not setting a good example. You need to stop mistreating that child and start focusing on being a better parent. Rachel waved her hand dismissively. Fine, if you want to be her mother, you can have her. I will give her to you for free. Mirabel was furious. I'm not joking. You need to stop ill-treating that child and focus on being a better mother. With that, she stormed out. As Mirabel left, Rachel called after her. You can go and pick up your precious daughter from school. Best mother ever. At school, Liberty's friends began to leave and the school day was winding down. Just then, one of her teachers approached her. Liberty, why is your mother still not here? The teacher asked. Liberty replied, she's busy. She said she would be late today. The teacher offered, should I give her a call? No, ma'am, don't worry. She told me she would be late, Liberty said. Okay, if you say so, replied the teacher. As she was about to leave, she asked, did you tell her about the exam fees and the registration for the moral lessons to help you pass your upcoming WAEC exams? Yes, I did, Liberty said, forcing a smile. That's good. If you need anything before your mother arrives, just let me know, the teacher said kindly. I will, Liberty replied. The teacher went back to what she was doing. A few minutes later, Liberty saw someone familiar. With a big smile, she exclaimed, Aunt Mirabel, and ran to meet her. Mirabel hugged Liberty warmly and opened the door of her car for her, saying, Get in. Liberty got in and they drove to Liberty's house. Once home, they made noodles together. While they were eating, Liberty noticed Mirabel seemed quiet. Aunt Mirabel, are you okay? I noticed you've been quiet since you picked me up from school. Did anything happen? Mirabel shook her head. No, I'm fine. I'm just stressed from work. There's this new project I'm handling and it's really stressing me out. As Mirabel spoke, Liberty's eyes filled with tears and she began to cry. Concerned, Mirabel asked, Why are you crying? Did I say anything wrong? Did I do anything? She hugged Liberty tightly. When Liberty calmed down, Mirabel gently asked, Tell me why you were crying. Auntie, sometimes I feel like I'm a curse or an abomination, Liberty confessed, her voice trembling. Don't say that, Mirabel tried to soothe her. You're not a curse. I have a mother, but I don't feel like I do. I know she's going through a lot, and I understand, but she forgets she has a daughter. I also need a mother's love. I know she can't always be there for me because she's busy, but sometimes just a hug from her would mean so much. I feel like I don't deserve it. I wonder what my life would be without you, Liberty said. It's been just you and you alone in my life. Tears streaming down her face. Mirabel, feeling emotional, held Liberty close. I love you too, baby. As for your mother, she's just going through a tough time. Don't ever forget she loves you so much, and you are her world. Don't let what's happening now define how you see her, okay? Okay, Liberty said, hugging Mirabel tightly. When Miss Rachel came back home that night, she went upstairs, freshened up and went to bed. She had come home late and Liberty had already gone to bed by then. The next morning, as Rachel was driving Liberty to school, Liberty remembered the fees and said, Mom, I need to pay my WAEC fees and registration. Okay, her mother replied. I will give you the money on Monday. But Mom, today is the last day to pay. If I don't, Rachel cut her off. If you don't what? Answer me. If you don't what? Please, not today, Liberty. Don't spoil my day. I will give you the money on Monday and that's final. She dropped Liberty off at school and went to her office. After tending to some clients, later she decided to treat herself at a spa. She got her nails done and pampered herself. When she was done, she realized it was past 5 p.m., which was after Liberty's school closing time. She immediately drove to Liberty's school, but the gates were already closed. Rachel hurried home, worried, and entered the living room to find Liberty watching television. She sighed in relief. "Mommy, good evening," Liberty greeted her. "So you're here, and you didn't even think to call me or inform me you were home. How did you get home?" Rachel asked, irritation evident in her voice. "Lily's mom dropped me home," Liberty explained. "Lily's mom dropped me home," Rachel mimicked in a tone that showed her disgust. Without another word, she went upstairs. A few hours later, Rachel, looking gorgeous and stunning, was leaving the house. Liberty, impressed by her mother's appearance, said, "Wow, Mom, you look beautiful." "I already know that," replied Rachel with a confident smile. "I'm going to a birthday party with Mirabel. Make sure you lock up everywhere in case I don't come back on time. And please don't call me today. Anything you need, keep it to yourself until I come back tomorrow." "Okay, Mommy, bye and take care of yourself," Liberty said, trying to sound cheerful. Rachel went to Mirabel's house and together they headed to the birthday party. When they got to the party, everyone was happy and having fun. Rachel noticed the handsome guy who kept staring at her, and she found herself looking back at him too. Mirabel noticed this and whispered, "Rachel, be careful." Later, the handsome guy approached Rachel, saying, "Hey beautiful, how are you?" Blushing, Rachel replied, "I'm fine. My name is Michael," the guy introduced himself. "And you?" "I'm Rachel," she replied. They exchanged numbers and spent the rest of the party together. When the party was over, everyone went home. Mirabel waved goodbye to her friend and headed home since it was past 11 p.m. Unknown to Mirabel, Rachel stayed back and followed Michael to his place, spending the night with him. In the morning, Rachel woke up to find 20 missed calls from Mirabel and Liberty. She quickly got dressed and hurried home. When she entered the house, she saw Mirabel and Liberty pacing around the living room. As soon as she walked in, all eyes fell on her. "Where have you been?" Mirabel asked angrily. Then, realizing Liberty was there, she said, "Liberty, go to your room." Once Liberty had left, Mirabel turned back to Rachel. "Where have you been?" she demanded again. Rachel remained silent, looking away. Mirabel continued, her voice filled with disappointment. "Don't tell me you were with that guy from the party. You didn't even answer Liberty's calls. She called me because she didn't know what to do when she got her first period. She was scared and alone. Why didn't you pick up your phone?" Rachel still didn't respond, and Mirabel's frustration grew. "What is wrong with you? I told you to focus on yourself and your daughter. Leave men alone for now. I can't believe you slept with him. Why do I even bother being friends with you?" Rachel's silence was deafening. Mirabel continued, her voice breaking. "Your daughter needed you, and you weren't there. Learn how to take care of your daughter before looking for a man." With that, she left the house. On Monday morning, after taking Liberty to school, Rachel went to her office and did some paperwork. In the afternoon, she decided to visit her friend's office. When she entered Mirabel's office, she saw Mirabel was focused intently on her work. "Ah, are you still angry?" Rachel asked, her face showing remorse. "Please, Mirabel, can we talk?" Mirabel, looking at Rachel with a stern expression. "What do you want to talk about?" she asked, still angry from what happened on Sunday morning. "What is wrong with you, Rachel? Why can't you live your life for yourself and your daughter? Maybe then a man who truly loves you will find you. Stop chasing after men. Look at you, beautiful and amazing. No sensible man will not want you, but you are already giving them a bad impression by chasing after them. Please stop, at least for your daughter," Mirabel pleaded. Rachel sighed. "Are you done? Okay, I've heard you. I wonder what I would be or become if you were my mother, she said, laughing. Mirabel couldn't help but join in the laughter. You would have learned to love yourself and behave better, she said, still smiling. They hugged and the tension between them eased. Rachel then began to talk excitedly about Michael, the guy she met at the party. He is sexy, hot and sweet. He's every woman's dream, she said. In your dreams, not mine. Speak for yourself. Mirabel responded almost immediately. Whatever, Rachel said with a hand gesture. Let me call him. She took out her phone and called Michael, but he didn't pick up. She tried several times but still no answer. Maybe he's busy, Rachel speculated. 30 minutes later, she received a message from Michael saying she should stop calling him and they had nothing to do together. The other night was just for fun. In anger, Rachel threw her phone on the floor. What is the meaning of this? Why do they always think they can use me? She fumed. Standing up, she added, well, it's his loss. I know the right man will come. Please take it easy, said Mirabel. Just like you said, the right man will come. Can you wait for me? I have to see my MD now. No need, Rachel replied. I'll be going. I still have a lot of work to do at the office before heading home. She stood up to leave and they walked to the door together. Lest I forget, David is coming in tomorrow, Mirabel mentioned. By the weekend, we'll be coming over to your house. Please make sure you make something delicious for us to eat. I'll be waiting, Rachel said with a smile. Rachel finished all she had to do at the office and went back home. During the weekend, David, Mirabel and some other guy went to Rachel's house. Rachel looked at Mirabel confused. Oh, he's Damian, David's friend. I'll tell you the story later, Mirabel said. They all went in and had fun, playing games, chatting and enjoying each other's company. A few days later, Mirabel and Rachel were at the spa talking about work until Rachel asked, so how do you know Damian? When I went to pick David up from the airport, I saw him talking to someone. He introduced him as Damian. They had both boarded the same flight, and since Damian is new in the city, David offered to show him the best hotels to lodge. After that, we went home. When I told David we would be coming to your house on Sunday, he decided to bring Damian along with my permission. That's how he ended up coming with us. He seems cool, replied Rachel. Yeah, I noticed, Mirabel said. After finishing their new apartment, Rachel and Mirabel went home. The next day, while Rachel was working on one of her fights, she unexpectedly saw Damian. Damian, she called out. He turned and looked at her. Rachel, how are you? Damian responded as they hugged. Rachel then asked, what are you doing here? I'm one of the architects, Damian said. Ah, so you're the professional guy they were talking about? Rachel asked, realizing it was Damian from their previous conversation. Yes, that's me, Damian confirmed with a smile. In the evening after work, Rachel and Damian went to a restaurant and introduced themselves properly. Rachel explained she worked as a project manager at her company, while Damian revealed he is an architect contracted by the same company. They began spending a lot of time together on the same site and eventually started dating. Everyone at the site knew about their relationship. Months into their relationship, Rachel suggested that Damian move in with her. After much persuasion, Damian agreed. The first day Damian came to the house, Liberty was away on holiday at a friend's house, and no one mentioned her to Damian, not even Rachel. When Damian eventually met Liberty, Rachel introduced her as a house help child she was taking care of because of her mother had died. Damian was very proud of Rachel for being so kind. However, before Damian moved in, Rachel had told Liberty she would be introduced as her adopted child in front of Damian. Liberty cried herself to sleep for days, praying that Damian would marry her mom so the verbal abuse would stop. Since Damian moved in, Rachel started closing work early and coming home as soon as possible. Liberty always avoided them to prevent causing any problems. Damian noticed this and asked Rachel about it. After she continuously changed the subject, he stopped asking her, sensing that she might not want to talk about it or she hates Liberty. One night, as Liberty went to get water from the fridge, she saw Damian. She greeted him, took the water and went back to her room. Shortly after she entered her room, someone opened the door. It was Damian. "What are you doing here?" she asked, alarmed. "Why are you this beautiful?" Damian said, his eyes filled with predatory gleam. I never knew you were this beautiful." As Liberty adjusted her nightwear and prepared to shout for help, Damian quickly closed her mouth and forced himself on her. Damian continued his visits to Liberty's room in the night for months. One day, Liberty finally gathered the courage to tell her mother what was happening. Instead of receiving sympathy, she was slapped. "Keep quiet. Do you want him to hear you? Respect yourself, this girl. Liberty, I have tolerated your nonsense for a very long time. This man who has wiped away the tears from my eyes is the one you are accusing. Don't worry," Rachel said coldly. "Pack all your clothes fast, all of them. You are going on a very long vacation." Rachel then took her to Mirabel's house. Mirabel, confused, asked, "Rachel, why are you here?" Rachel replied, "I want Liberty to stay with you for the meantime. Later, I'll come and get her." Still not understanding, Mirabel asked, "Why?" Rachel said, "Liberty is seducing Damian, and I don't want him to be tempted. Let her stay here for now. I want to sort things out. I will come back and take her." "No," Mirabel said firmly. "Why would Liberty seduce him? Who told you that?" Just as Rachel was about to leave with Liberty, Liberty signaled to Mirabel, who then said, "Wait, she can stay." "Thank you very much," Rachel said, leaving immediately. Mirabel was surprised to see Rachel so happy to have left Liberty behind. Turning to Liberty, Mirabel asked what happened. Already in tears, Liberty didn't say a word but hugged Mirabel tightly. In the evening, when Damian came back, he and Rachel enjoyed themselves thoroughly. Damian was pleased to see Rachel so happy but didn't say anything. That night, after Rachel had gone to sleep, Damian went to Liberty's room as usual, only to find it empty. Angrily, he went to Rachel and demanded, "Where is Liberty?" Rachel, still sleepy, didn't respond at first, but went back to sleep. Damian hit her hard, waking her up fully. "What is it?" Rachel asked, confused. "Where is Liberty?" Damian repeated, his anger evident. "I sent her away," Rachel replied. "Why?" Damian asked, even angrier now. "She was trying to get in between us," Rachel began to explain. Then, realizing something, she sat up in her bed and asked, "Why are you looking for Liberty?" Damian also realized himself and quickly responded, "The house is peaceful now. The aura feels calm, and that's why I was asking." "Okay, that's new," Rachel said, puzzled. "But what do you mean by peaceful? Does that mean you weren't at peace before?" "Liberty has been doing things that aren't appropriate for a girl her age," Damian began to explain. Rachel cut him off. "Oh, that. Don't worry. I don't believe her. I know you wouldn't do such a thing. I trust you completely." "Thank you, baby," Damian said as they hugged and went back to bed. At Mirabel's house, Mirabel called Liberty's name several times, but she didn't respond. Concerned, Mirabel went to Liberty's room and found her lying under the duvet. As she approached and touched Liberty, she noticed that she was running in high temperature. Alarmed, Mirabel took her to the hospital immediately. A few hours later, after running some tests, the doctor came out and said, "I'm afraid Liberty is suffering from severe stress and trauma. She's also dehydrated and malnourished. We need to keep her here for a few days for proper care and observation." Mirabel, shocked and worried, asked, "Is there anything specific that triggered this?" The doctor hesitated before saying, "Liberty mentioned some troubling things when we asked her about her condition. It's clear she's been through a lot emotionally and physically. It might be helpful to have a counselor speak with her." Mirabel nodded, her heart heavy with concern. "Thank you, doctor. Please take good care of her. I'll be here for anything she needs." Later, the doctor returned and said, "Liberty is 3 months pregnant and she has an infection, but it was likely caused by trauma and injuries. Forced sexual intercourse often results in physical trauma to the genital area, which can cause small tears or abrasions, making it easier for bacteria or other pathogens to enter and cause infections." Mirabel, short of words, looked at Liberty. her eyes filled with tears as she struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Unable to hold back her emotions, she left the room and found the corner where she cried her heart out. When she was done, she composed herself and returned to Liberty's room. Liberty, happy to see Mirabel, said, "Aunt Mirabel," smiling. "Why didn't you tell me?" Mirabel asked, clearly upset. "Tell you what?" Liberty replied, confused. Mirabel sighed and asked, "Who got you pregnant?" Liberty told her everything that had happened between her and Damian. Furious, Mirabel asked, "Why didn't you tell your mom?" "I told her," Liberty said, "and she slapped me, telling me to keep quiet, that I was accusing Damian because I wanted to destroy her relationship. That was why she brought me to your house." Mirabel stood up immediately to leave the hospital, but Liberty held her hand. "Please don't go. I don't want any drama. All I need is a mother. Please stay with me," Liberty pleaded. Mirabel sat back down and asked, "What's going on in your mind? Are you okay?" "Relax," Liberty said. "I'm fine, Auntie. Nothing is going on in my mind. I'm okay, Auntie." "What are we going to do about the baby?" Liberty asked with a big smile, surprising Mirabel. Mirabel took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "First, you need to focus on your health and well-being. We'll make sure you get the medical care you need. As for the baby, we'll figure things out together." "Thank you, Aunt Mirabel. I don't know what I'll do without you. We'll get through this," Mirabel assured her, one step at a time. Damian and Rachel were living their best lives, enjoying outings and fun together. While Rachel was deeply in love, however, she couldn't shake off the worry about why Damian hadn't proposed yet. Meanwhile, Liberty had returned from the hospital and was settling into her new routine at Mirabel's house. When Mirabel came home from work one day and freshened up, she found Liberty in the living room. They discussed Liberty's decision to keep the baby and her upcoming exam, which Liberty assured Mirabel wouldn't interfere with her studies. Mirabel had also booked a counseling session to help Liberty cope with everything she had been through. Damian proposed to Rachel. Overjoyed, Rachel took a picture of the engagement ring and sent it to Mirabel. Mirabel in turn showed Liberty the picture when she was at the office for a doctor's appointment. Liberty, seeing Rachel's happiness, thought she had finally achieved what she had always wanted. However, months later, after the project at the site was completed, Liberty discovered that Damian had a family with another woman and 2 children. Confronting Damian, she was devastated when he admitted, "You were the one asking me to propose, and I did. Stop being dramatic." "Yes, I have a family. They are the reason I traveled back to the city to visit them," Rachel crying said. "I thought we had something real." Damian, indifferent and satisfied with himself, replied, "Going where? Lo and hope. I never meant for us to be together and no one will marry you." Rachel, overwhelmed with grief and confusion, started beating Damian. "Oh my God, Liberty," she cried out, demanding to know if Damian had been with Liberty. "Who?" Damian asked, genuinely puzzled. "Liberty," Rachel shouted. "Ah, that one. She's very sweet though. I really enjoyed her," Damian said casually. Devastated, Rachel ran to her car and drove to Mirabel's house. Upon arrival, she found Liberty but not Mirabel. Rachel on her knees begged Liberty for forgiveness. Liberty, though confused, told Rachel to stand up, saying, "There's no need to apologize. The damage is done already. I'm pregnant and you've caused me unimaginable pain, physically, mentally and emotionally. From now on, I want nothing more to do with you. You may have given birth to me, but you're not my mother. Please leave." Rachel, still begging and crying, was pushed out of the house by Liberty. As she was leaving, Liberty felt a sharp pain and cried out in agony. Despite Mirabel's attempts to help, Liberty shouted at her not to touch her, and the pain intensified. Mirabel arrived just in time and took Rachel to the hospital. After 7 hours of intense labor, Liberty gave birth to twin boys. She refused to let Rachel come near her or her children, and chose to stay with Mirabel. Rachel was left to live in guilt, while Damian returned to his family. Mirabel, after pleading with Liberty, was allowed to let Rachel see the boys. Liberty maintained her distance from Rachel, though Mirabel hoped that with time, Liberty must reconsider and accept her mother back into her life.